really exciting video that we're filming because it's actually Phil's birthday. So happy birthday, Phil.
Yay! So we wanted to do a quick video about some essential car camping items that we always use on any car camping trip.
Yes. So these are the items that we take with us every single time we go camping in our SUV. And the nice thing is several of the items we already had on hand. So we purchased very few items when we actually started hitting the road 2.5 years ago.
Yep. So let's get into it.
We're Dev and Phil from Creatives En Route, two budget travelers who love traveling our home country in our converted SUV camper and taking a few other trips along the way. Subscribe to our channel as we share stories to make travel more accessible. First things first are these Honeywell personal fans. So these are really nice if we are camping somewhere where it is definitely warmer weather and we need something to cool us down. And the thing I love about the Honeywell brand is that we actually bought a different brand first, and that fan started smoking when we plugged in the battery pack. And so we were very concerned. We didn't use that, but these have been great over the past 2.5 years that we've used them.
Yeah, they are super affordable. They're only about $10 or $15 and pretty easy to find. So it's definitely been a good money investment, and it makes sleeping in our car a lot more comfortable, especially whenever the weather is a little bit warmer outside.
Yeah. And they are battery powered. We usually don't use them with batteries, but you can also plug in a battery pack, which is what we do. So a rechargeable battery plugs in via USB cable that comes with them. And they're also adjustable. So you can, obviously we have little bungee cables hooked to them, but you can adjust this to where you can set it down. So we've used it on the console before to where it can cool and circulate the air throughout the whole SUV.
So, since we were just talking about the fans and plugging them into battery banks, that's the second item. These we got actually for free, and they're super slim and really, really convenient to carry along with us.
Yeah, we really like the size and shape of them. I found a couple of others that we've linked below that are a similar size and shape. We haven't used those just because, like Phil said, he got these for free from work several years ago. But they've been great, and they keep our fans on for about 8.5 hours each night.
Yeah, so having a couple of battery banks are really great. We'll charge them in the car while we're traveling to our new destination. So then by the time we get there, they're fully charged and ready to go. And these will last, yeah, like Devin said, all night, which is really convenient.
All right, our next item is an absolute must if you are camping in your SUV. So these are actually our window screens or window nets. And they allow us to roll down the windows at night when we're camping. They kind of look a little weird, like a big sleeve, but it basically just slides over the door frame and it keeps bugs from getting in, which is really nice because then you can have some circulation without having to worry about different critters getting in your car.
Yeah, we've definitely camped at some places that had a ton of mosquitoes or gnats, or most recently in New Hampshire with these biting black flies that we did not want in the car. And these have totally alleviated a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we've linked the exact ones that we have below, and I put the size measurements in there as well. They come with a little carrying case, so we just slip it either in the door or behind the seat, and we always have our window screens available for a night of camping.
Yeah. The other nice thing about this is it's also non-permanent. So if you haven't watched our other videos, we talk about camping in our car, but also using our car as like a daily driver. So we didn't want anything that was going to be permanent on our windows. Mm-hmm. So this is a great fit for those nights that you do find yourself camping, and you can just slide them off if you're not.
Yep, absolutely.
When you're out on the road, we always like to stop at campgrounds where we can shower, and having a quick drying towel was really important to us because we knew that the time that it would dry would just be overnight. And so we wanted something that would dry really fast.
Yeah, I don't think that these specific ones are still available, even though they've been great, but we've found a couple that are a similar size. So it's not quite the size of a full towel, but it's still pretty long, which is really helpful if you're like using a shower in a campground. Plus it has this little loop, if I can get it. It has a little loop that you can hang if you need to dry it or something like that.
Yeah. So they're quick drying because they're a little smaller. They also pack up smaller in the car, so it's easy to find a spot for them, unlike something like a beach towel.
Phil is really proud because he has found like the perfect nooks and crannies for all of the things.
Yeah.
You can have it back now. All right, our next thing we like to keep in the back just because it makes it really easy if we need a little bit of light for whatever reason. So it's just a push button lantern. So obviously this one has several different settings, which is nice. It was really cheap and inexpensive. It is battery operated, and it's just helpful if you're, trying to get things situated at night when you pull into a campground.
Yeah. Because it has a string on it, you can also hang it up somewhere in the car if you find a spot for that, if that would be helpful. The batteries last a ton of time. And so we've run this for a little while whenever it's been really late at night. And it's nice to have something that just kind of fills the whole car with light rather than a flashlight, which is a little bit more specific.
Yeah, and it's all plastic, so you don't have to worry about it breaking, shattering, anything like that. It's pretty resilient for road travel.
The next item we want to talk about are bungee cords. They are a lifesaver.
Yeah, just as a reminder, we had them on our fans. I'll show them to you real quick. We have a very tiny bungee cable that came in this pack that allows us to hang our fans up and basically point them at our faces to cool us down at night.
Yeah. Having a variety pack of bungee cords gives you a bunch of different options if there are different things that you need to wrap up really quickly or to lash together. So we've used some of the longer ones as like a drying clothes rack across the back, which is in another video. We show you how we would do that. But some of the smaller ones are also helpful for those little items that might tend to roll around, or if you want to keep them all sort of tagged together, then you can do that.
All right. Are you ready for this next item? Or these next items? It's actually a twofer. It's 2 for 1. That's Phil's favorite phrase. Happy birthday, Phil.
Thanks.
Okay, anyway, I cannot imagine being on the road without our coffee system. And this is something that we talked about for a long time and did a lot of research on because we were very concerned about drinking our morning coffee. That is somewhat of a routine for us. And we wanted to make sure that we picked an option that was going to be a budget-friendly alternative, but was also going to be something that we felt comfortable leaving in the heat. And so we made the decision to go with an electric kettle since we're staying at campgrounds and a plastic pour over.
We really like to drink French press coffee whenever we have the opportunity, but it usually comes in a glass carafe. And so we didn't want to have anything glass with us that was potentially going to break. So the plastic pour over was the perfect solution for that.
And it only takes like 1 minute to heat up. So you really do not need power for very long. Unfortunately, it is too much power to really draw from your car. That was something we looked into too. It turns out you need a lot of electricity to heat something up. But finding outlets has not been a challenge for us just because a lot of campgrounds, a lot of rest areas, different places have an outlet we can find somewhere, to just boil the water for a minute before we use the pour over.
So speaking of food and drink, one of the other things that we wanted was a small cooler. So there were a lot of different options for a cooler, but a couple of things that we were looking for was something that was like a good hard plastic with no drain plug so that we wouldn't have to worry about it leaking out. And then we also wanted one that would fit behind our seat easily because that was the best spot for us to be able to consistently put a cooler to keep our food and drinks in.
Yeah. And we wanted something affordable. So there are lots of coolers that are, let's say, a little bit better at maintaining that cold temperature long term. This one is not something that's going to keep ice, cold for days on end at all. But it was good for us for keeping something throughout the day, especially if we got something at lunch and wanted to have it for dinner as well, something like that. If we needed to transport something on the road, we ended up bringing a friend back some chocolate milk from upstate New York back to Kentucky. And so it kept ice, the whole day, the whole drive, and I think even into the next day. So it is nice. It is affordable. This cooler was only like $11. So it was perfect for what we needed it for. Our next item are our drawers that go under our platform bed. So we each have 2 of these, and these are basically what hold all of our clothes and our personal belongings. Occasionally I fight for a little bit of Phil's space in his second tub, but they go together really easily like this. They're 6 inches tall, which we took into consideration when we were building our platform bed. And so our platform legs are 6.5 inches tall to make room for our drawers to slide underneath. They don't look like they're that big, but they're actually very spacious when it comes to storing things. So we've been really pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, because of their shape, you can put a lot of things in them, and our bed platform is built just long enough for 2 of these to fit like in a row. So we both have 2 on either side. It's nice because these are nice and compact whenever we're not traveling and we're just storing them. But in the car, they allow for a ton of space, and they help a lot with organization.
Yeah. And they've held up actually surprisingly well. We are a little rough on these, I would say, pulling them in and out. But they have held up great over the past 2.5 years.
Yep. They're also really easy to find. A lot of department stores have them, and we'll link some down below. This last item is something that we really value for privacy, and that is a simple front window shade. We got this one just at an auto parts store. I think it was like $15, super cheap. It's just a black one, and they make them for all kinds of vehicles, and a lot of them are pretty universal.
Mm-hmm. We had one that was an old hand-me-down one that was silver for a long time, but we really wanted something that was just plain black just because we felt like it offered a little bit more privacy. And one of the nice things about this is that the way it is designed has an extra flap that kind of encases the whole shade, and then it hooks together. So it's really easy to kind of keep compact in the car.
Yeah, so we use this every time we camp overnight, and it just provides that little bit of extra privacy for whenever we're sleeping, or just to keep out the morning sun or some of those street lights that they tend to have around campgrounds.
Okay, we know that was 10 or really 11 on the coffee one, but last but not least, we do have an honorable mention. So what this is, it is a little cumbersome to take out just because it is a lot of fabric, but it is a mosquito net that adheres to the back tailgate to where you can open the tailgate of your car and hang out inside without allowing bugs to get inside.
Yeah, it attaches via magnet, and so there are just little weighted magnets all over the perimeter of this, and so you can just attach it onto the back open tailgate, and it'll just stick right there.
Yeah, you can see here, the magnets are actually sewn into the bottom, and so they just stick right to each other or right to the outside of the car. It also has a zipper, so you can unzip it, and it's really nice to be able to get in and out or to take stuff out of your car while you're hanging out outside.
Yeah, we'll usually use this if we're going to be at a campground for a little while and just kind of hanging out, because it allows so much more air to flow through the vehicle while we're hanging out.
Yeah, it's not something that we use on every trip, which is why it didn't make the top 10. But we do always make sure it's in the car just in case we want to hang out in the car while at a campsite.
We take these items with us every time we go camping, so we wanted to share them with you. Again, all the products are down in the description, so go check them out and order them for your next camping trip.
Yeah, and we're not sponsored by any of these companies whatsoever. These are honestly just our items that we use every single time and that we love.
Yeah, and we travel on a budget, so none of them are going to break the bank for you. So hopefully you'll find them helpful just like we have.
Yeah.
So we will see you next time.
Bye.
When you're out on the road, it's important that you're staying clean, right? So we go, that was weird. That was weird. Let's try that again.
Retake?
Retake. And go.
Oh, take 2? That's what you say, not retake.
That was a lot.
Phil had a lot to say about that.
I didn't know I had so much to say.
This was a surprise to us.
Yeah.